This is Straight Talk with Benneth, and I'm happy to be here as your host of Straight Talk with Benneth. My name is Benneth Nwankwo. So today I'll be speaking with a Nollywood actor. He's a multi-dimensional actor, and I'll be asking some questions about his life. We'll be back after the short break. And thank you for joining me, sir.
You're welcome.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you very much, Ben, for inviting me on the talk show. Of course, my name is Kingsley Abasili, and I have this principle about life, that in whatever you do, you try as much as possible to make sure you are not offending anybody. Yeah, treat people the way you want others to treat you. I hail from Ibupu in Agwata local government area of Anambra State. And of course, I've always spent all my years of growing within Nigeria here in various states though. I was born in Makurdi, Benue State. I had my upbringing over there. My primary, secondary education was over there. And I also did my bachelor's degree program in Ebonyi State, where I had a bachelor's degree in public administration. Yeah, I also have a master's degree in international relations from University of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. And over the years, I've always been the type that believes in improvement. I believe that in whatever you do, you always be determined and always have that focus on improving yourself from whom you are today to become a better person tomorrow. And I have always had that as my watchword, and it has actually helped me a lot.
Okay. So, what drew you into acting as a career, and how long have you been acting? And what movies have you featured in? What really drew you into acting?
Okay, you asked multiple questions, so let me start from somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I started acting in movies as back as 2005.
Wow.
When I was in university, that should be my 300 level.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually have had passion for it right from my university years. I realized that within me, I was very good at mimicking people.
Okay.
You know, I was very good at mimicking people, their voices, the way they talk, what they do.
Okay.
And if I do these things, I will always want to create that impression that it is, you know, we don't generalize in human behavior.
Okay.
People can become whomever they want to be at any time.
Okay.
And that is what acting is all about.
Okay.
You can become another individual in a split second before anybody says jack. So like I told you earlier, I started in 2005 when I was in 300 level.
Wow.
Back then I had this talent I told you about, you know, mimicking people and trying to be like some other persons if I want to. So I got to get wind of an audition somewhere. Then, back then when I was in school, I went with some of my friends for the audition. That was my first time of going for anything like auditions for movies and everything. So I would say I went there like a novice. Yeah, I went there like a novice. And when I saw the crowd of people, I was like, well, let's see how it goes. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, after the auditions, I was selected among those that would play a lead role in the movie. Then, and it was quite an experience, a very nice experience at that. And that was the first time. After that movie, almost immediately, I also had another one from the same production crew. Yeah, and of course, it was quite challenging then because I was trying to combine it with my studies, and then I had that target and that aim in school to graduate with a very good grade. So at a point in time, I realized that if I don't watch it, the acting thing, the movie thing could take a lot of my time and probably affect my my studies and academics. So I had to make a choice and choose one for that time. So after the second movie I did, I had to draw back and go back to my studies. I graduated, hoping that after that I was going to continue from where I stopped. But of course, this is our beloved country, Nigeria. Our beloved country, Nigeria. You know, when you emerge as a graduate, you start seeing certain challenges that you never expected.
It's true.
And when I started facing those challenges, I must tell you, I automatically and totally forgot that I had this ambition of going into the movie industry. So I started, first of all, struggling to make ends meet, you know, to get a job, and also become whom, you know, my family had expected me to be, like someone who would grow up to become, you know, a good person.
Breadwinner of the family.
Well, not really the breadwinner, but a successful person. So then, you know, as an undergraduate, what we always had in mind was that once you graduate, the job is out there waiting. You know, but after graduation, you discover that it's a whole lot of different things you're going to meet out there. It continued until, by the grace of God, I got a job in Port Harcourt. I moved to Port Harcourt from Lagos. So I happened to come across a post on Facebook which prompted my going back to the movie industry. Yeah, that should be in 2018. After such a long time, 2005 to 2018. You know, so one thing led to the other, and I had to go back. And like the saying, delay is not denial.
It's true.
Destiny delayed is not destiny denied.
So I think we'll have to still have many questions for you, but we must take a short break now. Straight Talk with Benneth, and we've been speaking with Nollywood actor Kingsley Abasili, and he's been sharing a whole lot of story about his life. He seems to have a striking resemblance with Nollywood veteran actor Pete Edochie, and in fact, I would say, if you don't mind and if you accept that, is much more like what brought it to the limelight, what made people notice, because that was the time you trended all over the world. You were trending on Twitter. So tell me, I want to know, are you related to him?
You know, I was saying something initially which led to all these.
Okay.
I've actually met with Daddy Peter Duce.
Okay. You call him Daddy?
Yes.
Okay. My ears
I've actually met with Daddy Peter Duce, and like I said earlier, some time ago, some years back, I came across a post on a Facebook group.
Okay.
That asked a question, and it was trying to ask people that which celebrity do people say you look like?
Okay.
It was actually a post on Facebook, on the Facebook group. So I came across this post, and people were making all sorts of comments, funny comments, and I looked at it and I was like, well, for the first time, let me try to participate in things like this. And I asked myself the same question.
Okay.
I asked myself, which celebrity do people say I look like? So I remember that sometime in 2009, when I went for an interview in Lagos, I walked into the interview room, the office rather, and the person coordinating the interview, the first thing she asked me is, sorry, what's your name? I told her my name is Kingsley Abasili. She said, are you related to Peter Duce? I said, no. She said, no, tell me the truth. I said, no, I'm not really. She said, so why do you look like him? So I remember that, and at that point, she said that henceforth she started calling me Peter Duce, which she did.
Yeah, if anyone that watched the Things Fall Apart, Peter Duce acted it back in the 80s. Anyone that watched it, you just look exactly like a younger version of him. Same beard and all that.
So now I remember that scenario. Yeah. And I remembered again that in Port Harcourt I came across 2 or 3 doctors, medical doctors, on different occasions that would just stumble upon me. Why do you look like Peter Duce? Another doctor asked me that, are you sure? I remember these scenarios, and I was like, well, maybe I actually look like the man. No, I don't know. So I had to go online, search for some of his pictures, and in fact, one of the pictures I saw was, I was shocked because it looked very much like one of my pictures I had. So when I picked that photograph, I collaged it with mine. I picked 2 other photographs and we mixed his facial expression in one. I mixed the facial expression in one. I collaged all these pictures and put it up on that Facebook group. And in fact, I didn't expect the attention it got.
Wow.
Because that was where the news came up from. Suddenly, eventually, I noticed that there was this clip on a particular television station in Rivers State, Harvest TV, where they grabbed some comments and everything. Those pictures I posted on social media, and it got overblown. I met him when we did Black Chambers. There was the movie I met him first. Was in Black Chambers in Port Harcourt. And there we.
So how was the reaction? What did he say?
We actually had some discussion. I was just passing by, and he was seated with a lady. So when I passed by, I greeted him, and he passed. Went to take a leak. I went to the convenience. On my way back, he called me and asked me.
Do you know?
So he called me and asked me, do I know that lady standing beside him when I was passing her? I said, yes, Daddy. He said, she asked me if you are my son. So when he asked that, when he said that, I smiled. And he said, no, the lady asked him that question, and I said, Daddy, see what happened. In fact, even while I was walking into the environment, I met Harry B. Harry B. with some of his friends. They were all tapped Harry B. and said, this guy looks like Uncle. So now these things were like, I never expected people to recognize such resemblance, but it happened. I don't even know if actually I resemble him or not, but because people say I resembled him. While we were shooting Black Chambers, and at some point where we were interacting, he prayed for me. He he blessed me. I told him I needed his blessings. I started praying for me, blessing me, wished me, gave him his gun, and that was where we got talking. Wow. So after that, we met on another movie on Royal.
Okay.
While we were doing on Royal, it was just like a household talk from everybody.
Okay. Everybody
would be asking him, "Is this your son? Is this your son? Is this your son?" So at the point, he said a lot of people have asked him this, and that is why he had decided to adopt him as a son.
Wow, adopt him?
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
It was just like it was a huge surprise for me. I didn't really know what to say.
Okay.
So there and then he adopted me as a son. We started having this good relationship and rapport. I call him daddy, he calls me son. So anybody that says, is he your son? He says, yes, he's my adopted son. So that was how we started, and by God's grace we have had this very good relationship, and we've been very good, and I thank God for the experience so far.
Wow, that's interesting. We want to take commercial break now. When we come back, we round up. Be back shortly. Back on Straight Talk with Bennett. I've been speaking with Nollywood actor Kingsley Abasili, and before we went for a short break, he just told us about his encounter with veteran Nollywood actor Tate Edochie. What are you working on now? I really want to know, like for some people who are following you, and also tell me, are you on Facebook, are you on Twitter, on Instagram? Like for some people that want to get up close to you, how are they going to reach you? And tell me, what are the things you are working on now?
Well, I told you, the post I made was on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
That shows you that I'm on Facebook.
So what's the name of Facebook? What's the username?
I don't change my name. My name is Kingsley Abasili.
Okay. What's up?
Everywhere. My name is Kingsley Abasili. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody watching, follow him on Facebook, Kingsley Abasili, on Instagram, Kingsley Abasili, on Twitter, Kingsley Abasili. So tell me, what are you working on presently?
Are you talking about the entertainment or
entertainment? What are you working? Are there any movie you are looking up to? And again, I forgot to mention, many actors I see now are interchanging roles now. Today they are directing, they are producing, and all that. Do you see yourself doing such in near future, or are you doing anyone at the moment?
Well, right now, of course, I have spent some time in the industry, and I have learned one or two things on how movies are made.
Okay.
So I am still looking at what is on ground, the kind or the category of movies that are on ground, Nigerian movies, just to know what the society reacts to and what they wouldn't react to.
Okay.
So I'm believing in putting together something that will, of course, involve my daddy, Tate Edochie.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be targeted at our state, Anambra State.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something that will build on the tradition and the culture of the Anambra.
Okay.
Yeah, of Anambra people, and of course, it's going to also display our culture talk about our origin, and as well throw some more light and shed more light on what we want our state to be, and also something that's going to affect or influence the entire eastern region of Nigeria.
Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you for joining me on Straight Talk with Benneth. It's been amazing. That was all on Straight Talk with Benneth. We had an amazing time with Kingsley Abasili. It's been a pleasure being your host, and join us next time on next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Supported by Afriwood Tv, CJ Grand Exchange, Naira Rice, Trinah Empire, Noel Essentials, ZC Eric & Sons Limited, Kitihub, the Elite Crayfish and other seafoods, Magic Television, and Afrimultimedia.